Focus live right here on OGTV, the People's Telly. Welcome, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the program. My name is Dominic Agbea. Focus is a no-holds-barred discussion program where we say things as they have. We look at issues affecting us in the society with the purpose of proffering solutions to these issues. That is, if there are problems, of course, if there are solutions already, if there are answers to probably some of the things we are going through, we commend some of these things. Today is not going to be an exception. Our focus on Focus today really is the reconstruction of the Abeokuta-Ota Lagos Road now and other issues. That road for years has been in a deplorable condition, and of course causing untold hardship on residents of Ogun State, particularly those who ply that access. But succor came to residents of Ogun State, particularly those who are applying that access in October last year, when the federal government approved for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of that road. We are going to be looking at what has really happened since October last year, when the federal government approved that road should be rehabilitated and reconstructed. We are going to be looking at that in the next couple of minutes. And not just that, Ogun State also clocked 48 as a state recently. We are also going to be looking at some of the giant strides that the current administration in Ogun State has been able to achieve in the last couple of years that he has been, that the governor has been in the saddle of leadership in the state. These and many more we are going to be looking at in the next couple of minutes, and I'm so sure you are going to enjoy every bit of it. I've got in the studio with me someone who is in the position really to talk about the plans and the efforts of government in the past, and of course what the government also still intends to do for the well-being of the people in the state. I'm talking about no other than Otumba Dare Odufowokon. Otumba Dare Odufowokon is a senior special assistant on media to the Ogun State governor. It's a pleasure having you in the studio, sir.
It's nice being here. Thanks for having me. I'm senior special assistant on public communications.
Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications. Apologies for that.
Thank you.
Now, let us look at the issue. The Abeokuta-Ota Lagos Road has always been a nightmare for residents of Ogun State, particularly those who ply that access. But succor really came to them in October last year, when the federal government approved that this road, enough is enough. This road should be reconstructed. What has really happened so far in that access?
Thank you very much. You're very right. It's a very important road, and you're also very correct. Last October, the federal government agreed, after years of requests by the Ogun State government, under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun. I can tell you that since he emerged as governor in 2019, he has made the reconstruction of that road a priority. But because the road belongs to the federal government, it's not a road the state government can just happen upon and said, we want to fix it. No, it's not done that way. The administration, immediate power regulation at the federal level, made it clear to governors, don't touch our roads except you have our approval. That's under the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari. It was a government policy. We won't give you a dime in return. And apart from that, we'll stop you from. You must get our approvals to work on federal roads. So the governor determined to end the sufferings of people plying that road, realizing that the road may be a federal road, it is within Ogun State. A good portion of it is within Ogun State. And it is our people who bear the brunt. Worked hard for that approval all through his first 4 years. He didn't come. And while doing that, he kept doing palliative works on that road.
Access.
That palliative is still ongoing as we speak, and it is costing government a lot of money. But we have to wait because of this belief that we cannot continue to say this road is a federal road and that's why we are doing nothing about it. He kept asking for the needed approval and he kept working on the road, palliatives. Eventually, when he got the second time, he continued his quest to have that road fixed. October last year, the federal government, under the leadership of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, gave its nod. Now yes, we think we should release this road to Ogun State to fix. There was a presidential nod, some sort of approval. It became public that federal government has agreed that Ogun State can work on
that road.
Lagos, Sango-Ota, Abeokuta road. We all celebrated that because it was a good feat, which is meant to be a means to the end of fixing that road. It was not an achievement on its own that we got that approval. It was an achievement that is meant to lead to the reconstruction of that road. And then people now ask questions months after the approval, what has happened. I want to tell you, he went to Mr. Governor, President Abiodun. His Excellency, we want that road fixed now and make it available for the public to use. That's his desire, that's his goal. It's not some sort of public stunt. No, he wants the road fixed. However,
I'm sure a lot of persons will be wondering, I mean, if he cannot wait to really get work started on that road, then what, might be the cause of the delay?
Yeah, exactly. Beyond the presidential nod, the approval by the president, there are a lot of other things needing to be done. One, like we said, it's a federal road under the custody of federal government. Two, there have been issued that one or two portions of that same road had been under contract before now. So there is need to do away with those contracts. However, what is most important as far as Ogun State is concerned today is the need for an extract from the Federal Executive Council meeting discussing and approving this road for concession. Approving the concessioning of the road to Ogun State. You can do it. In spite of the presidential approval, there is need for the Federal Executive Council to also discuss. And having done that, an extract of that discussion will be made available to Ogun State for reasons of one, it's some sort of legal backing. That yes, you have the right of you see, government is a continuum.
Exactly.
Beyond today, even if any other government comes and whatever, it is the establishment of the agreement between the state and the federal government that yes, it was properly discussed, agreed to, and approved. That is one major delay in embarking on that road. Apart from giving legal backing, such extracts will also help the state to convince partners, especially in the private sector, in its drive to get that road done. It's public-private partnership of some sort. So it is when, you see, it's some sort of business for those who come in to invest their money. They are investors. They want to be sure their investment is safe. They know the procedure. Where is the extract? It's part of those documents that will be tabled to properly enter into some sort of agreement to get that road fixed. The governor is ready. The governor is willing. The governor is eager. But we need to ensure that we are treading the road properly. Especially when we have stories like some portion of that road was under contract before, and some people are already raising eyebrows that they can't take it away from them. If you are supposed to have done it years before now, you have not done it, and the state government is saying, look, we want to fix this road. You understand? It's a funny thing for people to want to raise issues. But when you go through the process properly, you have all documents you have to have, you have all agreements properly signed, you have all papers attested to, then you can face whatever comes when you start the project. Governor Dapo Abiodun will not want a situation where we start and some legal issues will come up and some people will add a way or a mean of stopping the work again, denying the good people of Ogun State what they ought to have under this administration. He wants to start it and finish it and deliver it. So that is the picture as it is today. And the government of Ogun State is not waiting. However, effort is still continuing to ensure that we get this and work will start immediately. But we all must continue to prevail through prayers, through agitations, through talks on the federal government to also play its role where it's necessary and help these projects to take off.
Now, thank God that you've really come here to clear the air on this. I mean, because when the declaration was made, quite a number of persons must have thought, with that declaration, I mean, the next week, work would actually start. I mean, but it does not really work that way.
It's not out of place for you to feel that way. I must tell you, I felt that way too.
Because really, people cannot even wait to...
I felt that way too, but when we realized that, it's not yet Uhuru, there are still some things to be done. It's a process. And the best way to go about this is to ensure you have all loose ends tied properly to avoid any form of fallout, spillovers and what have you. Once that work starts, which we see starting very, very soon because efforts are in top gear.
Very soon. How soon really?
As soon as
quite a number of persons
want to know how soon.
Yes, particularly living in that axis who on a daily basis go through the harrowing experiences of applying that road. We want to know, when at least that glimmer of hope.
It is not for the state government sincerely to say when. But as soon as all necessary things regarding the documentation and these agreements and the approvals are done, the governor is as good as ready to start work now. Yeah, we are talking about public-private participation. But the state government itself is willing to kickstart it. I mean, the idea of how they want the road to be is clear. What the government wants done is established. The role and how far the state government is willing to go in investing money is taken care of. Other participants can come in and the modus operandi can be explained, but the government is as good as let's start this job now. Let this project take off now. But like I told you, it is not a state road. In spite of the approval, it is still not a state government controlled road. It is a road that will have to be built to specification as desired by the federal government through the Ministry of Works, Federal Ministry of Works. It is a road that will still have a lot of inputs from federal government officials. So you will understand why all loose ends must be tied. So as soon as that is done, we don't want the people to understand that the delay is not intentional, it is not due to lack of commitment, it has nothing to do with the readiness of the state, and it is not commensurate to the desire of His Excellency President Dapo Abiodun.
Very, very, very instructive. I mean, the delay is not due to lack of commitment on the part of the state government.
Yes.
But we know that road is very, very important. It's very, very important axis. But what palliative really do we have on ground to see that the things are...
You see, with the readiness of the state government to start off, their attention now is on getting that project started and delivering a very good road. The government is talking to everybody who would have a role to play. Recently, the government reached out to stakeholders in the axis. Private organizations, multinational companies, conglomerates, and that. Once we decide on this road, all of you, you're going to be party to this. Even when some people came around and said they want to do something, government said, that is not what we expected from you now. Your input into the mega project, the main project, the final solution is what you should go and think about. Don't come with that small idea anymore. Please, let's put everything together, and that shows you his mindset. So while you can still see some form of palliatives here and there on that road, just to make it fair, because the road is in a very, very deplorable state. But just to ensure that people who have very, very important reasons to be on that road are still not denied. While you can still be seeing some people, I want to tell you that the focus now, like the name of the program is on delivering that road. That's the attention now.
Are you optimistic that before the end of the first quarter, we will get tractors and caterpillars on that road?
I am optimistic. And that's why all prayers now are on ensuring that everything that needs to be done between the state government and the federal government is quickly done. Once that is done, it is beyond optimism.
I'm sure the people in that axis will say a very, very big amen to that.
Exactly. That's what we desire now. Amen.
Now, on the 3rd of February 1976, to be precise, Ogun State was actually created as a state to stand on its own from the old Oyo or Western region. Yes, and 48 years down the line, the state has grown in leaps and bounds. We are going to be looking at some of the achievements really that have been recorded, particularly in the last 4-5 years since this administration came on board. Let me come to you by asking really, how viable do you think the state has really been since creation compared to other states really that were created almost at the same time? We had the Osun as at that time, Ondo, and the rest of them.
Yeah, you would I think it would be preferable.
Let's just focus on.
No, okay. I'm going to tell you what people should know are saying about Ogun State, so that it will not look like we are blowing our own trumpet. Let's talk about what people should know are saying. And by that I mean some rating organizations, international, national rating organizations have been comparing states in Nigeria. They've been looking at the achievements, the viability, the improvements of states nationwide. And if you look at the way they've been positioning Ogun State, these are not ratings done by us, by the state government. These are ratings done by agencies who should know in their own scorecards.
Who dwell on facts and figures.
Thank you.
No emotions. No sentiment.
No sentiment, no politics. For example, the Analyst Data Services, a well-known rating organization, internationally recognized, recently ranked Ogun State among states in Nigeria when it comes to some social index. 6. That's far above more than out of 36 states. If you're coming 30. You talk about viability, that's one. And they looked at a lot of issues. The financial strait, IGR, ease of doing business, a lot of other things. Another organization said Ogun is second. That's Economic Confidential, placing Ogun right behind Lagos in viability. And by this they said, even among states of the Federation, Ogun is second among top 5 states that can survive without federal allocations. The same Ogun State that we are talking about and I'm talking about. Lagos, 1, Ogun, 2nd. I can go on and on and on. Another organization recently said, in Nigeria generation, in increase in Nigeria generation, Ogun stop. That among all states, Ogun came top in increasing its IGR, that is internally generated revenue. Ogun came top. No. The rate at which this administration between in the last 5 years have been increasing its income is unprecedented. It wasn't like that 10 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe 6 years ago even. Now, so it is the current administration that has brought about these changes. These tremendous changes.
Tell us the magic word.
Another organization also spoke about industrialization. I'm there from the state number 1. The governor of Nasarawa State was in our state 48 hours ago, barely 48 hours ago or so. And while speaking, he said he has come to learn a lot from Ogun State, in the area of industrialization and internally generated revenue. He said just like Lagos, Ogun is the gateway to Lagos for all states of the Federation. He said Nasarawa is the gateway to Abuja. And he is learning a lot in the way President Akpabio is piloting the affairs of the state, taking advantage of the proximity of his state to Lagos. He spoke about infrastructure. He said what he is seeing in Ogun since the coming of President Akpabio is unprecedented. And he's learning from that too. He mentioned some of our projects that to him are world-class and unbelievably delivered in Ogun State. He mentioned the international airport you also mentioned just now. And I must tell you, these are signs of the viability you seek.
Tell us the magic wand, really. Because some of these ratings you talked about, came just last year. Last 2 years. Just last year, 2023, we know how turbulent and challenging it could be, or it was really. It was the election year, so much of uncertainties,
naira
scarcity, subsidy removal, unification of the dollar, and we also had a lot of distractions really by court cases that the governor had and the rest of them. Yet he was really focused. He was not distracted by all of these, and he was still able to do well and be ranked, first 3 among economically viable states in Nigeria, trailing just Lagos.
First 2.
Trailing behind Lagos alone. What's really the magic one?
That's what you get when you put a man who is prepared for the job on the job. The governor came in knowing what is needed to be done in Ogun State. He's been around for quite a long time, looking at his dear state, believing that the state needs more than it was getting, and assuring himself that I can get this done. Into governance, the governor, President Akpabio, came with a lot of experiences, private sector, international organization experiences, and what have you. Know-hows that are actually needed to bring our state out of the woods. So it was easy for him. In spite of all what you call distractions, these economic issues, turbulences, and what have you, he was focused. He's a man, you see, I'm very proud of my principal. You know why? He's a noiseless performer. It's just like in Nigeria of today, and if you're a middle class earner, and you have your I pass my neighbor generator, and surprisingly, it does not make noise. You know how proud you be of that generator, because normally your pass my neighbor will be an issue between you and your neighbors. It will even be an issue for you. Exactly. When you put it on to read is a problem. But somehow you find that your pass my neighbor generator not making noise. and delivering. My principal is a noiseless performer. Just doing his thing, getting things done, putting lies to issues raised by unbelievers, proving doubters wrong all the time. When he started the International Cargo Airport, it was a white elephant project. He cannot deliver it. It will not see the light of the day. He just wants to pack money. The day the Supreme Court delivered its final judgment, I'm trying to remember the day. The first commercial flight from Abuja, first commercial flight, historic, landed in that airport. It was not a charter flight, commercial flight, as in having its own passengers. Value Jet Airline landed at our airport in Peru. That's a confirmation that it has come to stay. It's operational. Flying a plane is not like driving a taxi that you can go anywhere you like. It has to be cleared. That flight must be cleared. I'm very proud to tell you that he was one of the passengers aboard that flight. And I'm going to tell my children, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, if God spare my life, that airport you are seeing, the first commercial flight to land there, I was aboard. That's in addition to the fact that the Vice President of the airport have earlier landed there, the senators and the Speaker, number 3 of the country, Speaker of the House of Representatives, landed here on another occasion. Governors of Kwara, of Kogi, of Lagos have landed in that place times without number. Confirmations that we have an airport that is operational
in Ogun State.
For quite a number of contrary to the insinuations of cynics and doubters. That's the kind of person
I'm sure the doubters are also still doubting the economic value of that airport to the state.
What is if they continue doubting now, there is little or nothing we can do to convince them, because I tell you that airport is of immense economic value. The government did not set about putting that airport up because of what he saw on ground. No, he did because of what he can envisage. That once we have this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. And it's already happening. The number of organizations, government, non-government, private sector, companies and organizations talking with government already to have their businesses in and around that airport. I cannot tell you the number. Every day, memorandum of understandings are being signed. The number of housing units springing up in that axis because they understand what is about to happen. I cannot tell you. The number of people working within and about that airport now.
Yes, we need to find out. We'll still talk about all of these. If you're just joining, the program is Focus Live, and we are looking at the reconstruction of Abeokuta, Ota, Lagos Road, and other issues really affecting Ogun State or happening in Ogun State. And I have in the studio with me Otumba Dare Odufowokon, a senior special assistant on public communications to the Ogun State Governor. We shall go on this break. When we come back, the program is going to continue. Do not go anywhere.
Think about Africa. Think about Nigeria. Think about the rich cultural heritage. A land flowing with milk and honey, whose beauty is in her delicacies, unique fashion, with fertile land, full of mineral resources, with captivating landscape and human resources. Our norms, values, and traditions tell our stories, which evokes the African and Nigerian spirit of oneness and togetherness. I am proud of Africa.
I am proud of Nigeria.
We are proud of our rich cultural heritage.
Focus Live it is. Welcome back, and I still have in the studio with me the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications to the Ogun State Governor, in person of Otumba Dare Odufowokon. And I've been looking at the Abeokuta Songo Lagos Road, the reconstruction and rehabilitation of that road, which we know that it's really of huge importance to the state, but unfortunately at the moment it's still at a deplorable situation as we speak, though efforts by the government are being made really to do palliatives, and of course the government has also secured the commitment of the federal government to go ahead and rehabilitate that road, which we have been told will begin in no distant time. And of course, Ogun State clocked 48 since its creation, 48 years, February 3, precisely 1976, it was created. And we have been looking at what has really happened in the state, especially in the last 5 years. Now, let us look at the economy. I mean, when the government came, when Governor Dapo Abiodun assumed office, he talked about his intention, really. I mean, because he was coming from the private sector, and he so much believed that the private sector has a role, really, to play in governance, that government really cannot do it alone. And he said he was going to play big on public-private partnership. How far so far, really? How much of fruits, really, have we been able to, get from this?
Like I told you earlier, we have a governor who knows his onions very well, and he's peeling it in the right direction. Talking about public-private privatization, he has benefited immensely from the moves and efforts of Governor Dapo Abiodun. Again, I would rather use the positions of those who should know. Now, last year, towards the end of last year, budget, budget. Another rating, the research organization of immense repute, gave Ogun State the top position when it comes to ease of doing business as well as IGR generation. How are we able to pull these two? Simply because the governor was able to use his understanding of the private sector to bring that sector into governance. He made business doing easy in Ogun State. So much so that Ogun State became the choice location, choice destination of investors. And every day, we see businesses springing up. We see businesses being enlarged. And that does to the government more IGR. So the partnership between the private sector and the private has yielded immense fruit. To answer your question, immense fruit. And a lot of government activities are also getting buy-ins from the private sector. It is when they do business close to you. It is when they find doing business easy within your domain that they will look at what you are doing and say, okay, how can we partner with you? Land ownership in Ogun State is one good example, made so easy by this administration. The cumbersome processes done away with. Private land ownership, business land ownership, mention it, made so easy. It is only in Ogun State we are talking about improved IGR. And people are not saying, they are double taxing us, they are multi-taxing us. No. It is the know-how of this government. We can get more money without putting undue pressure on and burden on the people. And that's something we should applaud. That's something other governors are saying, we want to copy. That's something the private sector is telling you, beautiful. They are not complaining of being overtaxed or double taxed or multi-taxed. No. The government is getting what it will get from them. They are getting satisfaction for what they are paying. They are doing their business with ease. They are getting what they need to do business with ease.
Can you please hold your thoughts? We have a caller. Tony is calling from Abeokuta.
Okay.
Hello, Tony. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, moderator. Not from Abeokuta, from Ogijo.
Okay, from Ogijo.
Yes. My question is this. Who is the resident of Ogijo? We have been about for a very long time. Even for the past administration, nothing is happening there. Even the present governor. The only road they approved in Ogijo, yes, the hospital road has been abandoned. So what is going on here? We are not far. We don't belong to anybody. The government is not even listening to us here. Our inner roads are bad. Everything here is bad. So I don't believe in all this talk the government is doing this.
Well, Mr. Tony. Yes, Mr. Tony. Yes, Mr. Tony, we have. Yes, thank you for your question. We have the senior special assistant to the governor on public communications. I'm sure you are going to.
I'm sure Mr. Tony spoke angrily. Probably the road to his house is in a deplorable state, and I think that road, if it is so, deserves to be fixed. However, it may not be too correct to say nothing is happening in Ogijo. The government presence in Ogijo, recently there was a need for a new fire station, and the government looked in that direction. Some roads within Ogijo has also been fixed. However, you cannot claim that because we have done some, others don't deserve attention. No. But our people must also understand all of them cannot be done overnight. He even talked about the road being constructed, being abandoned. It's not abandoned. I say passed on that road late last week. And work is ongoing on that major road towards Shagamu. It's a major road that the people of Ogijo and other people in Ogun State will benefit from. You understand? But we cannot fix all the roads at once. Recently, the Ogun State government introduced a project called 100 roads. These 100 roads are to be spread across the 20 local governments. I am sure that one or two roads from Ogijo will be part of those roads that will be selected. The election process is on. The project is being awarded. The councillors are okay. Apart from that too, recently the governor said, okay, to give your people some succor and give you some sense of belonging. He told councillors, go and identify roads in your ward, list them. I think it's 2 or so. Bring them. I will approve that they should be reconstructed. These are efforts geared towards reaching places like Ogijo. You must understand that in spite of the increase in Nigeria that we talk about, money, especially for government, is scarce resources, and it can never be enough. And when you have scarce resources and you have things to do, there will be opportunity cost. There will be alternatives forgone. So, but we'll continue to strive, like the governor will say, that yes, it is not enough, but we must not continue to ignore the needs of the people. Let us strive to do more. He wants to do more. He desires to do more. That's why he's putting in place structures that will help the government earn more and the government will be able to do more. So I plead with my brother Tony in Ogijo to be assured that development will come to all parts of the state, but it will not come at the same time. It won't come at the same time. So one after the other, this administration will pull the string until we get to him.
Now let us look at, still talking about the economy and the rest of them, let's look at another thing that is commendable of the administration of Governor Dapo Abiodun. Since he came on board, he has been maintaining that January to December budget cycle. How has this really, I'm sure that really would, as all that has been aiding planning, preparation, and
And that's what That's the reason. He believes, Governor Abiodun is one man who believes in planning what he wants to do. He wants to get it done perfectly. So he believes that to get it right, we must plan for it. So he's sticking to the January-December budget cycle is typical of who he is. Don't forget, like you said, he started that since he emerged governor in 2019. But along the line, the federal government even had to know, he insists that it become a law.
What do you say?
That all budgets must be January to December. Even before that, he's been practicing that. And naturally, he stuck to it. And it is helping him plan and develop Ogun State.
Okay, just natural. Please hold your thoughts. We have Adedoyin calling from Abeokuta. Yes, we are hearing you, Adedoyin. Good afternoon.
All the mineral roads in the they are worse. They are worse. See, the community schools that we have, our children are suffering so much. We don't have much. We only have 2 secondary schools, 2 community secondary schools. With one in Ogijo, one in Itabu area. They bought the school, Ogboluwa Community Middle School. We are not seeing the impact of the state government, especially in that school, that Ogboluwa Middle Secondary School. There's nothing to write home about.
Hello. Adedoyin, are you still there? I think we lost him. But of course, he made his point, and you are going to react.
Talking about. I didn't get that.
No, it's still the Ogijo.
Okay, he's still talking about Ogijo. Okay. Now, well, he spoke about the school, and I must tell you that the needs of the people are actually endless, and it is within their legitimate right to make these requests, and it is for government to continue to strive to meet these needs. Like I said, the resources will be scarce. But if there are urgent things to be done, this is the way to go about it. Tell us, speak about it. If these claims are as bad as he says, I can assure you that you see changes in no time. Because one of the essence of this kind of engagement is for us to know what is happening in those places. And I've just told you of efforts of government in that axis too. It has simply shown that there is more to be done. And I can assure him too, like I did to Tony, that we'll look into some of these things they are raising, and there will be immediate actions on them.
Now, residents of Ogun State woke up and heard that the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, or the erstwhile Speaker, the former Speaker, talking about Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, was impeached, and quite a number of persons were shocked. And those who carried out the impeachment, the 18 lawmakers or thereabout, the initial impeachment talked about some of the, and they said the high-handedness and not putting them into consideration as some of the reasons why he was impeached. But some persons are actually wondering, really, that is it possible for a tree, a leaf to fall from the tree without God knowing? Is it possible for that act to have been carried out without the executive knowing about it?
First, don't let us equate a man with God.
I'm just
without God knowing is impossible. It has nothing to do with the ways of man.
Yes, I was just trying to.
So, is it possible for it to happen without the executive knowing? It is possible, especially with a man like His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, who is a staunch respecter of the doctrine of separation of power. I use the word staunch. I've seen him as somebody who respects separation of power. And you will agree with me that the tripods of governance anywhere is the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. He is heading the executive and heading the government, yes. But the legislature of which you speak now is a separate entity from the executive, with its own leadership, its own norms, its own way of doing this, and its own members. And you must also take it that each member in that assembly was elected the same way the governor was elected. You should know. To represent a particular portion of
But some persons will say this is Nigeria
now,
and the governor usually is interested, he becomes the speaker. Because it is by that
naturally
he
was
has control really.
Naturally he was
over the house.
Naturally he was interested in becomes the speaker because he's a politician holding a political office, elected on the platform of a political party and working with political party members in the legislature. So naturally he was interested in who becomes speaker in his first time in 2019, and he stood by Right Honorable Oluomo staunchly. This is a man who is good for the job. He supported him in spite of oppositions. Again, on their return for second term, he was interested in who would be speaker, and he supported him, intervened.
And what happened?
What happened is simple. Members of the assembly, equals, decided that they wanted to change their leadership. And from what we had initial, 18 members, 18 out of 26, signed an impeachment notice. Would the Democrat that I know Prince Dapo Abiodun to be would not unilaterally throw away the wishes of 18 equal members to how many remaining? 8. In such situation, no. But it was not as if he felt, they are done. He said, no. Are you sure you have this number? Because of the manner the thing was done, the assembly had 2 sides to it. Some people said, no, they don't have 18 members. They never garnered that figure. What they did was, a few members sat and sacked the speaker. The other people said, no, 18 of us are of the opinion that he should not speak for us. We are equal. And the governor and other party leaders said, okay, the manner in which this impeachment was done is improper. Go and sit. If truly you have the required number to remove him, go and sit, follow the procedure and do it. And to you, if truly they don't have the number to remove you, go and subject yourself to the process and use the majority to stop your impeachment. I think that's fair enough. It was fair to both parties.
That spirit of democracy.
Democracy. He insisted, look, no. We will not, because we cannot verify what happened this first time. Go and do it again. And my brother, he did not interfere because he gave his word to both parties. Go and do it again. And he did, at the end of the day, 25 members to 1. What would you, if you are governor, what will you do? Because people talk and give reasons and adduce explanations, and some of us who are in the north, we just laugh. The governor allowed democracy to prevail, and I think by now we should be clapping for him. I've read some foreign positions on this matter, and a lot of people are applauding the governor. Some people are saying it's for the first time in Ogun State, the doctrine of separation of power, and for the first time in our democracy in Nigeria even, the doctrine of separation of power is respected. Let me tell you, what would you have preferred? The scenario of 2007, where the house became a theater of war, and outside the house, on the streets of cities of Ogun State, attacks and killings and assassins and violence. Is that what we will have preferred? The answer from this government is no. These are equals in the assembly. Each one of them carries 1 vote. Go and choose your speaker. The man in question is the speaker. He speaks for them. He leads that section of government. They must agree with him for peace to reign in the assembly, and by extension, do you know each of these members represents the people of their constituency? The government would not force anybody on the assembly. He would not. And he has just displayed to the world his belief in democracy, his trust and commitment to the separation of power. He had no hand in what happened. He had no intention for or against.
I must thank you so much for your time with us this afternoon, looking at quite a number of issues as far as Ogun State is concerned. I have been speaking with Otumba Dare Odufowokon, a senior special assistant on public communications to the Ogun State governor. That's the size of the program. Many thanks for coming, sir.
It's a pleasure.
And of course, we thank you also for watching the program this week. Next week, we are going to be back here by God's grace with another interesting edition of the program Focus Live. I remain Dominic Agbea. Enjoy the rest of your day.